Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. And we do apologize for that little glitch before we went on the break. Now we're discussing passion to portfolio, and we're having this one-on-one with an artist, Bamaiyi Danladi. From blank walls and forgotten space emerges as a powerful voice of expression. This is the story of a street artist who uses vibrant murals and mural painting to turn everyday walls into canvases of thought, emotions, and ideas. Scattered across the city of Kaduna and some parts of Abuja, of course, his work does more than add colors. It tells stories, sparks conversations, and gives identity to spaces once overlooked. And this journey from passion to portfolio shows how raw talent, consistency, and purpose can transform street art into a powerful creative career. And thank you so much, Bamaiyi, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Daybreak Extra, Bamaiyi.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, your work is something that I know a lot of people must have seen in Kaduna, but not knowing the face behind, some of your work, which I know that in Kaduna it must be very popular. Take us through how you started and how you found yourself in this particular career that you do.
Okay, I actually started mural paintings in 2019, and it actually started off as something just for fun for me and also to pass a message. It was during 2019, during the lockdown period, so people were at home, people were scared because a lot was going on, and while I was at home doing nothing, I actually thought to myself, what can I do to also pass a message, or what can I do that will also encourage people to take these measures that the Nigeria Center for Disease Control is trying to push, trying to encourage people to wear their face mask, to also maintain physical distance. I noticed in my community, despite the fears, some people were still not taking those warnings seriously. So I decided to do a painting, and that was what made me to do that painting of 1,000 naira notes. That was my first mural
with the face
painting.
mask.
Yes, with the face mask. And the idea behind that painting was not just about the face masks that they were wearing to protect themselves from contacting the virus. On the 1,000 naira notes, we have two individuals there. Two heroes are on that image. So in order to give that picture of physical distance, I actually gave them a little gap. Yes, I separated the two of them. And why I specifically picked the 1,000 naira note, I wanted something that would look attractive. Because everybody likes money, both young and old. So even during the process of the painting, I actually noticed that people were beginning to come close to be like, why is it drawing 1,000 naira notes? What's going on here? People started noticing the gap, people started noticing the face mask because we were comparing with the actual notes that they had. So when I did that painting, I decided to, initially the plan was just to encourage people in my immediate community to take the virus seriously. But I decided to just post it on my social media page, my social media handlers at that time. And to my surprise, the next morning, I started getting notifications, started getting tags. People started calling me that the work has gone viral. And remember, this is my first painting. I usually used to do just residential painting. I paint people's houses, not artworks on walls. So from there, I think my first newspaper interview was also with Daily Trust.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yes. So I got called from the office in Kaduna, and I was featured. They interviewed me and all of that. And since then, I actually now realized that, okay, I can actually use this talent to actually pass more messages. And ever since then, I've been using my art to pass messages and to also celebrate some of our leaders too.
Okay. Bamaiyi, how do you balance creativity with the risk of working in public spaces where your art might be overlooked or even damaged?
Well, anything you involve yourself in, you have to just get ready for both the advantage and the disadvantages. And the disadvantage of street art is, unlike the usual art that most artists makes, like create artworks, put them in a studio where people come to visit, putting those murals on the street is actually prone to damages. Sometimes you wake up and you see scratches on the wall. Sometimes I have to go back and do like some little
touches,
yes, maintenance. So how I balance it is that sometimes during any period I have less chance from the residential painting I do, I go around to check some of those works I did. Like some of the works I did like 5 years back. Recently I went back to just go and check them out, and if there is any maintenance. Yes, they are still there. They are still there.
Oh.
So how do you find the walls that you paint on? Because I've seen some of your paintings in Kaduna. Do you seek for consent before you do that, or you just paint on maybe buildings that have been left or abandoned? Okay.
First of all, I don't vandalize people's, because truly I get this question a lot. People will be like, sometimes people will send me random picture like, I saw someone walking around my wall. I just hope that's not you. So I don't just wake up and go to people's houses. When I started, initially I would beg people, I would meet them. If I see a wall I like and I would like to use it. Usually how I select my walls is that I look for walls where pedestrians do pass, so that my message can get to reach, my artwork can get to reach more people. So I meet the owner of the building, ask for permission from them, and if they give me permission, I go ahead to do the painting. And it was very challenging for me when I started, because a lot of people did not understand what I was doing. Some of them felt like maybe I was getting paid to do those works. So some of them would tell me things like, how much are you going to pay me? And as an artist that is just starting, struggling with buying art materials, buying art brush and art supplies, so I couldn't afford it. So out of 10 people, sometimes I'm lucky I get 2 or 3 people to agree for me to use their walls. But later on, as the work started going viral, people were using some of those houses I initially painted as description. Sometimes when I paint a wall, the wall automatically becomes like a landmark. People now use that house to describe that house, that there is this particular painting. So at that point, I even stopped going to ask for walls. People were coming to meet me to tell me, I have a wall. Some will even tell me, I have not plastered my fence, but I want to plaster it so that you can come and use my wall to do painting. So that's how I get my walls now.
Okay.
I wanted him to walk us through the process from conceptualizing a mural to completing it. How do you start? How many days does it take you?
Okay. First of all, before I put out the painting, it's something I've already envisioned. Look at, usually since it's a mural painting, it's on a wall, so I'll have to first visualize how the artwork is going to come out and what message am I trying to pass, because it initially started just for fun, but along the line I realized that I cannot just be doing it for fun. I need to pass messages. I need to address some societal issues, like the one I did of I don't know if you've seen it, the painting of Peter Obi, Atiku and Tinubu that I did before the previous election. The painting was actually to encourage people to vote wisely, and also this they were the 3 major candidates as at that time. Atiku from PDP, Peter Obi from Labour Party, and then they were also from the 3 major ethnic groups, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. So the idea of the artwork was actually to encourage people to vote wisely, to vote not just along religious or tribal lines, and also to like make people understand that at the end of the day we are one. We are actually one people. So when I get a wall, I calculate how many days it will take me and the materials it will take, and usually it takes from 3 to 7 days. The highest I've spent, and this is the mural painting of the
Obi and
Obi
you're talking about.
Yes, it's actually the one that took me the longest to make. It took me about 6 to 7 days to finish. It was on the 7th day I rounded it.
It's still quite very early to finish this kind of a great painting. Actually, if you ask.
6 days, you said?
6 days.
So do you draw them on the wall before you paint them? How do you? Yes. How does the process go? Okay, first of all, usually I prefer to use walls that have never been painted before, because I want my works to last very long. I want them, if possible, to last for a lifetime. So some of those undercoats, for walls that have already been painted, sometimes some of those undercoats, the paints that they've used could be inferior paints. So I prefer to use a wall that have never been painted before. So first of all, I'll first prime it with white acrylic emulsion. That will now serve as my blank canvas. Then I will now go ahead and sketch. So the sketching takes 1 to 2 days to finish. Then the 3rd day I will now start my painting process. Wow. So is it the things, the paint and everything you spend your own money to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
How much does it cost for you to get the paintings?
For a mural of, let's say, 10 to 15 square meters, I spend nothing less than 300K.
And you paint people's walls for free with that amount?
Yes, that's where the residential and commercial painting I do comes in. Because I do residential and commercial paintings, most times when I get art supplies, I don't just buy them at once. That's why I don't even feel the burden or the weight, even though I'm working as an independent artist. So I buy those stuffs gradually and keep them till they are enough for me to now start the painting works.
So what's the return after? I've seen you do some work for, people that you've partnered with, or people that have called you to do in their houses. Do you get a return out of what you spend?
Most times, what I get in return is usually I also use that medium when some of my works go viral and then people start talking about them. I use that opportunity to also promote the painting company I run, which is Northern New Creations. It's a company that we do residential and commercial painting. I also employ other young boys too who are on the streets, train them on how to paint houses, how to screed, how to do POP, and also how to paint. Because that was initially what I was doing before I started doing those mural paintings. But the residential and commercial painting is actually when someone knows you and then you work for them, then they refer you to another person. So since the artwork is giving me that platform, I now use it to get access to actually to our advantage.
Okay. Now, what was your biggest challenge in turning a street art from a personal passion into a recognized creative career? I mean, you do this in a public space, so of course you're going to meet one or two challenges.
Yeah. Okay, one of the challenges I faced as a street artist was sometimes while I'm working, I get a lot of comments that were actually discouraging. Even though when I started, I know what I was aiming for, but then there are some comments that can really get to you. For example, when I was doing the painting of this Peter Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu, then to encourage people to get voters card, I also did another one where a person is holding a voters card like this, just to like. I was just trying as much as possible to put it in people's faces, because as at that time, during this previous election, a lot of people were discouraged because some of them felt that when they vote, their vote doesn't count. So I was trying to use that artwork to let people know that, okay, we cannot just give up, we should still try our best to make sure that we also participate. So there was a comment I got that period where someone came and said, you keep wasting your time, how much do you even get from these works that you do? So at some point I felt discouraged, but I did not allow it to discourage me. I kept on putting out more works. Yeah.
So when you paint, I know that, like I earlier mentioned, in Kaduna, your work is more pronounced in Kaduna than other city, even in Abuja. I remember you told me you did a work in Jabi, Lake Mall. Yes. Yeah, which I know a lot of people must have seen, but they don't know you're the face behind that work. What do you think people should feel when they see your work, especially, let's say, in Kaduna, they're passing? What are you expecting them to feel when they see your work? How do you expect them to connect with what they see?
Okay, art is supposed to evoke emotion. Art is a way of expressing your feelings and your thoughts and your ideas through painting. So one of the main goal why I paint and the message I'm trying to pass with all my works is, for example, the painting of the Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba eating on
the wazobia.
Yes, the wazobia. Yeah. That work really sparked a lot of controversy, especially when I did it newly then, because a lot of people were like, these three people can never be together. This where has it ever happened before that Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba they are eating on the same plate? But I feel like some of those people are actually ignorant, should I say, because if you grew up in the north, if not now that things are beginning to change, during Christmas you see Muslims coming, you go to, for example, NYC camps, you see people from different ethnic groups eating together, playing together. Sometimes you will not even know who is from which tribe, who is from the other tribe. So that's how it has always been, and I'm also trying to pass this message through art to make people know that we can actually be one united people. So that's my goal right now. It's
for them to see a unity and togetherness in your painting.
Yes. So Bamaiyi, how do you plan a large-scale mural? Do you work with a digital sketch? Do you add digital, technology to your sketch, or do you let the wall dictate the flow as you paint? I mean, you mentioned that you don't really paint on a painted wall. So how do you do it?
Well, I still use the traditional method because some people call me a self-taught artist because I did not go to an art school, but then I cannot really completely say that I'm a self-taught artist because I watch YouTube tutorials alone, and those videos I watch are actually put there by other people. So what I do is I do traditional sketch. I first of all sketch using pencils. Sometimes I use charcoals for bolder outlines, and then I paint. But I'm also trying to because the way the world is advancing now, technology and AI is actually
taking over.
Yes. A lot of people say that technology will take our jobs, but I don't believe it will, because except maybe people that use technology, because there's a quote, I think I saw a quote one time where someone said technology is not going to take our jobs, but people that use technology will actually take your jobs if you don't learn how to use it. So I'm also learning how to use AI tools now to actually advance my paintings. But what I do currently right now is I just sketch traditionally, and most times the ideas don't come fully formed. As I work on the paintings, it keeps coming, and that's why most times I just leave. I've not done any painting that I actually feel like I'm done. Usually I just do it to a certain extent, and then I'll just say, just rest like that, it's okay, because the ideas keep coming. I keep adding. As the ideas come, I keep adding. Yes.
So what does success look like to you as a street artist? Is it about the fame, or is it about impact, or is it about financial stability?
Well, for me, I think it's actually a combination of both the financial stability and the impact. Because if you look at it from a financial standpoint alone, you may get all the money from the artworks and you still not find fulfillment because you were not impactful. But there is this fulfillment and joy that comes from making impact. Looking back and seeing that, getting comments, for example, like I saw your art, I saw this artwork you did, and it really changed my perspective. Like the painting of the Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba dining on one table. I got a lot of, even some people even gave me some gifts because of that painting, because some people were like, someone from the north painting Hausa, Igbo, and some were even telling me things like the fact that you put the Igbo man in the middle, and it was not intentional. It's just the idea just came like and that. I just did it. So I got a lot of even financial support that time when I did the painting. So, but for me, I think it's more about impact. Looking back and seeing boys you trained also taking the same career path, making paintings, and some of them are also earning a living from it. So it makes me feel fulfilled.
Yeah. So what advice will you give the aspiring street artists looking to make their mark just like you?
Well, for aspiring artists who want to make impact through art, my advice for them is to actually focus on the craft, build your craft, practice, improve on your skills first. Because if you decide that you want someone to come and sponsor you, or you need someone to first put you through, you may not actually get it. Because when I started artwork, particularly generally, it's not, especially street art, because that's what I do. Street art is not too popular in this side of our world, or should I say this part of our continent, Africa here. Because if you watch online, like on YouTube, or you scroll to social media and you just search for street art, very minimal. Yes, but in other countries, you see that they actually use street art to celebrate their people. They actually use street art to promote their cultures and their traditions. So if you're trying to also follow that part of street art, you need to be ready to put in the work, to not allow anyone to discourage you, because there is actually a very big future there. I see a very bright future in this street art industry, because unlike the normal traditional artists that paints, put them in the studio where you have only limited people that have access to your studio get to see your work.
Yeah. When you curate it.
Yes, it's on the public, so you cannot tell who is actually seeing it. And there are some artworks that can actually give someone hope. There are people that will just see your artwork without even you telling them, because what I do is I don't even add captions or on my artworks. I allow the artwork to actually speak for itself. Yes. Because art is subjective. Sometimes I pass and I see people debating about the artworks, and it gives me joy. And you see some people saying that, this artwork, I saw it and it gave me hope. Like the painting I did of the boy holding the Nigerian flag. Yeah, that small boy. Yes. So your artworks should actually spark emotion, should give people hope, should be encouraging, should actually be works that inspire. There should be artworks that inspire. Before
we let you go, what would you do differently if you have access to more support and resources?
Well, if I had access to more support, what I would do is actually to establish an art school. It's an art school that will be open for anyone who is interested in art, but especially will pay more attention to children, because that's what I did not have growing up. I used to like artwork. I told you my first painting was in 2019, but it did not just happen that 2019 overnight. It crossed over. It's something that has been in my mind for a long time. I even wanted to go to ABU, and I was told that I cannot get admission until I have fine art in my Wike certificate. And the school I went to, both the primary school and the secondary school I went to, fine art was not a subject so I did not have it in my Wike, not because I was not interested in fine art, but because the school I went to was not offering
it. You didn't have it as a curriculum?
Yes, as a curriculum. And now I want to apply for the fine arts to study it in the university. They are asking me for the fine arts in my Wike, which I don't have.
So you being a mural artist is purely talent?
Yes, ma'am.
That's impressive.
It's purely
the fact that he didn't even study it, and then he just woke up. That's how God gives people talents, and talent, you just explode.
Studying something and you just flow like seamlessly this way.
Yeah. But at this point, universities should actually grant this young man, access for him to go and further his education, because he's doing great, telling stories, protesting with his work. People tend to learn from what he does. I mean, look at that. Beautiful. I mean, this is Mr. Ibu, and I'm sure a lot of people, this is your own way of, sending your tributes. And it's actually beautiful to see. I was asking him, I said, did they give you the wall to paint? And I'm sure it should be there. But at the times, just to add to what we are seeing, at the other times you've gone back to check to see if they have painted on the painting that you've done, like they've scraped it or something. How do you feel when you see that?
It has only happened once, and honestly, it's like, an artwork is like your baby, especially because you watched it from being a blank wall to the sketch to the painting. So there is a particular wall I painted on, and I went back there recently and I noticed that the building has been demolished. I felt really, really, really bad. But then the message has already been passed. And thank God for social media too. I print soft copies of my work to just keep them as memories too.
I mean, you're doing a very great job, and I'm sure a lot of young people will take up this initiative to see how they can actually also put the talents that they have out there for them to also, benefit and gain something, and also teach other young artists that want to be artists, especially when it comes to self-employment.
I'm very sure he has people that look out, or they look up to him right now, because we have young ones that really want to be like him.
Definitely. I mean, thank you so much, Bamaiyi, Danladi, for being part of this conversation, and we're delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm sure you've learned something from our conversation with Bamaiyi. It's actually beautiful to see, like you said, art is like a baby, and they tell stories. Sometimes we use art to protest, in different forms. Well, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll take a look at what is trending on our social media platforms.